Welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. Before we start today's video, I have a few important things to talk about. Number one, I got a phone call today from Pete. That's right, Nuts 319. If you don't know who that is, I talked about Pete a couple weeks ago. He's a friend of mine, and he has the YouTube channel Nuts 319. Well, he got injured in a real bad logging accident several weeks ago. But he called me this morning. It was great to hear his voice. He sounds like he's in good spirits, and he gets to go home today. I believe it's today. He still has a very long road to recovery ahead of him. But he said once he's able to drive, he's going to come up here for a visit someday, so we'll get him on camera. But yeah, it was really good to hear from Pete, and he is progressing as well as can be expected. As you can tell, we don't have a fire in the wood stove today because it's about 50 degrees out there. It's been raining on and off for the last 2 days. It's a real mess, which leads me to the second thing I wanted to talk about. I got a question. I need to do something. I need to make a quality chicken run. You know, I don't like mud I don't like it at all. But I need to build a bigger chicken coop, a bigger run, something that I can get the tractor in, like the LX, to clean out on occasion. And I know the new run, number one, I need to put a roof over top of it. That'll help keep a lot of the rain out of it. But I'm thinking kind of elevate it a little bit, maybe put some big stone, just a way that it will drain properly and stay relatively dry. So if you have any ideas, if you have done that in the past, let me know in the comments. I think the roof will help considerably, but you need to kind of keep it up out of the ground a little bit because, chickens are always digging and scratching around. They make holes, and then we put straw in there, and then the straw breaks down. You've got more mud. So I'm looking to do something there with the chicken coop and chicken run. So let me know what you have done and what will work well. Third thing I wanted to mention is we have the nice ceramic mugs available once again. They were a big hit last time. We have both the green and the gray, and there will be a link in the description and a pinned comment as well on that. I think those are the three things I want to talk about before we get started with today's video. I'll report back from down at the sawmill. All right, we're down here at the sawmill. I've got a red oak log on here. It's about 16 inches in diameter, nice and straight, pretty much. This was standing dead out in the woods the other day. I brought these in. I'm going to saw some 6/4 material out of this, 1.5 inches, and I'll use this for the floor in the woodshed. Should be pretty good for that. I haven't run the sawmill for probably close to a month, but hopefully it's just like riding a bike. right, I got this one squared up. If you're not familiar with red oak, you know, you live somewhere that you don't have hardwoods like this, this is incredibly heavy. I mean, this is about 12 by 9.5. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this up and I'll saw my 1.5 inch floor off the 9.5 inch side, just because it's a little bit lighter instead of dealing with the 12-inch wide ones. If you've been watching our channel for a while, you know I used to have a Wood-Mizer LX 150, and Tom Haas now has that mill from Concrete with the Hosses, but it was a manual mill, and I had an injury one time. It was a dumb move. I don't know what I was thinking. I was down to about I don't even know, an 8 by 10 inch cant. It was heavy, you know, it was red oak like this. And normally I'd use like a can hook and turn it. Well, I just kind of grabbed it to flip it with my hands, and my finger got caught between that and the rail, and I had kind of a degloving incident where it just peeled the skin. I think what happened was when it smashed it, I had gloves on, your instant, you know, your reflex is just to like yank your hand out of there, and that's probably what did it. But people have been asking about that finger. I can bend it to about, I don't know, it's 95% of what it should. I'm pretty happy with that. But all the skin grew back, and it healed up really well. But it took literally, I bet you that thing took 5 months to get to a point where it was all healed up, you know, and then another couple months before I could bend it as much as I can. So I'm glad I've got the hydraulic mill now, and I don't do that dumb of thing anymore. So with that being said, I really like the log turner on this mill. So before we finish this one up, I need to take care of something that's bothering me. I'll show you. My rail here is getting all rusty. What happens is you use ATF on here, automatic transmission fluid, and I always put it on before I saw, and I should probably hit it once I'm done, because like I said, this sat for a month. It's getting rusty, so we're going to clean this up. I was going to use some really fine steel wool, but Nathan from Out of the Woods said the Scotch-Brite pads work well. So we'll see if he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, it's working. I also have some of the heavy duty ones. I think this may be a little bit better. Just a little bit more abrasive, but you don't want it too abrasive. All right, that is much, much better. Looks good. All right, so I got 7 pieces, about 1.5 inches thick, 9.5 inches wide. That right there will get me a little over 6 feet of floor. If I leave, you know, like an inch gap between them. But yeah, that's really nice stuff, actually. Pretty nice for a floor in a wood shed, but red oak is readily available around here. Here in the near future, weather permitting, I'll be going down to West Virginia to get some white pine and bring back probably 3 or 4 dump trailer loads. I talked to neighbor Greg down there. He's a logger. He's a professional. He's going to help me, and we'll get them down, cut the length, and we'll bring them up here and saw them on the mill. I could take this mill down there, but I think it'd be just as easy to bring the logs here because all the lumber is going to be used here. What I want to do, I want to build a nice shed over top of the fuel tank that you can see right back there, and maybe even make it big enough to park just the skid loader and the excavator in there and the fuel tank on one end. It'll be kind of like my wood shed, but just bigger. Yeah. So all I'll have to buy are the posts. I'll probably use 6x6 treated posts, get some 12-footers, and the rest will all be white pine from down in West Virginia. But I'm trying to come up with a good plan down there. You know, it really does need thinned a little bit, but I don't want to make a big mess. Now, the red pine, you could take out 3/4 of those. Those trees down there aren't going to last forever. They don't regenerate like the white pine does. So I'm kind of focusing my efforts on the white pine and thin them out a little bit, and they just keep growing and growing. And plus, they'll grow a lot faster if I can open it up just a bit and I can use the lumber. So we've got a lot of plans for this summer. But like right now down there in West Virginia, if you saw that video the other day, we had tons of snow down there, and it's probably just as warm down there as it is here. Plus, with all the rain, I'm sure it's quite the mess down there. I may try to get down there someday next week. We'll just have to see. But yeah, that's one of the many things for this spring. It's a nice shed right there. Need to get the road done going out to the clearing, and we have big plans for out at the clearing. I don't want to share them right now because if something doesn't work out, people are always asking, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? So I usually wait until I get real close and everything's lined up. So I just have to wait on that. But we've got big ideas for out there. But we'll have a bunch of stuff going on this year. But anyway, right now, we need to run back up to the building, and I'll report back. I think I'm going to start a fire here this evening just to take the chill off. But it's like 50 degrees right now. It might even be 55. I haven't had any heat in the building since yesterday afternoon. And it's still, I don't know, it's still probably 60-some degrees in there, 65 degrees. I don't even know. So it is 57 degrees today, which is about 50 degrees warmer than it was last week at this time. I've never seen one of these things. This is the fuel gauge. See how this works? Like so. Fuel levels up, half, empty. Now my thing is, we need to make sure that this is facing that direction, and they got little arrows right there. So when you tighten it down, you need to make sure those arrows are pointing this way. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So how's that going to go? Because I'm going to put it down there, and as I turn it, it's almost like I should have done this before I put fuel in it. since it's completely full, it will work, I think. Yeah, it's turning all the way around. You know what I mean? I was afraid it was going to hit the back of the tank. But since it's up all the way, I'm good. I bought this from JME and I got everything that I needed. Well, I ordered everything that I needed. I got the fuel gauge. I've got the filler cap, which this is new to me. I guess that's to keep from spilling a drop or two on the ground. But I got that. I got a vent that'll go in here. I got some questions on that though. And my pump will go here, okay? So when I ordered this tank from JME, I was gonna order it online, but I had a couple questions. I wasn't sure about a few things, so I called. You know, as one of those guys. And I think I threw them off when I asked for a manual pump. They sent that pump, but they assured me everything that I needed would be included in the shipment, and that was not the case. So I just had to run to the hardware store, pick up a few things so we can get this finished up. Here's the biggest problem right here. This goes on the bottom of the pump down into the tank, right? So it's going to be somewhere right about there. It's extended all the way, and they say to keep it about 2 inches off the bottom, and I'm about 18 inches off the bottom. Not long enough. I'm going to use this for right now because I got 520 gallon in this tank, but I'm going to have to swap this out and get that fixed. We'll put the pump in, and then I've got a filter and all that to hook up as well. 520 gallon of diesel. Boy, does that make me feel good. Makes you just feel all warm and fuzzy. You know what I mean? We're gonna leave that right there. So see what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the filter up here, plug this off on this end, and the fuel will come up here through the filter. I don't really like this plastic cap. There is like an O-ring on it. I'm just putting a little oil on here. Hey, did you guys know, I knew this before I confirmed it. I gotta tell you this, hold on. So did you guys know that Jim Farley, that's the CEO of Ford Motor Company, is cousins with the now deceased Chris Farley? I knew they looked like exactly alike, and I kind of figured they were related, but I looked it up. They are cousins. All right, last up is the vent pipe. That's where I'm a little bit confused. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is the vent right here. This is what I was confused about. Number one, why is it shaped like that? You can see the screen in here, okay? It's a very fine screen, but you know, like with blowing rain or snow, I mean, it's a real fine screen. I don't know. All it says to do is put the vent on, tighten these down a little bit, and you're good to go. Is that right? I've never seen one of these, so I don't know the answer to this. We're gonna go with it, unless somebody that knows more than I do about it explains it differently. I don't know. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more confused I am. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why design it like that? I know I'm missing something, I just don't know what it is. You know, like the old vents kind of had a cap and the air would go, I don't know. Let me know if you're familiar with this and if that's right or if it's wrong. I have no idea. Did you ever use this stuff? Mega Lock. It works pretty good. Instead of using the tape. Multi-purpose thread sealant. Said it's safe for diesel. All kind of stuff. Yeah, where's it at? Makes a positive seal on lines carrying acids, diesel fuel, ethanol, kerosene, all kind of stuff. And this was the only thing that came with that tank vent. It just says make sure the screen is clean. No leaks anywhere. I didn't expect any. So I just got 8 feet of hose with this. I can get a longer one if need be, but I think that's plenty. I didn't want it too long and be kind of fumbling around with it. But with the way it sits right there, I could have the skid loader or excavator, you know, with like 4 feet between it and the tank, and still have plenty of hose. But yeah, so we got the filter, rotary pump, vent. It doesn't make any sense to me. Fuel gauge. And this is where you fill it. Eventually, probably first thing in the spring even, we might even start before that, I'm going to build a nice shed over top of this fuel tank. And I'll have the front of the shed maybe just like a foot in front of the tank, a little bit of an overhang over top, you know what I mean, on the roof. And if we're going to do that, I might as well make it big enough, you know, where I could even fit, like, have a wall, fit the excavator, skid loader in here. I'm just thinking out loud. At least something to cover the tank up, but yeah. Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier in this video, we'll use the white pine from down in West Virginia to build this. All I'll have to buy will be the metal roof and the treated 6x6 posts. Everything else we'll just use white pine. Let it dry, you know, 3 months or something, spring, early summer, and then I can spray it with that Ready Seal and it'll be good for several years. So I used everything that they sent me except for this. I don't know what this 2 inch is for. Had to be something for the vent pipe, I guess. I don't know. But I had to buy this 90, this 6 inch nipple right here. Oh, and the pipe for the vent pipe. That's what I had to buy. So I wanted to get one of these tanks for the longest time, and I have no idea why I drug my feet as long as I did, because there's some huge advantages to being able to store diesel on your own property. Number one is cost. I can buy it in bulk. You can buy it whenever the price is down, because you know it always fluctuates up and down. The other thing is convenience. It's so much easier to do this than the way I used to. I had a 96 gallon tank. I still have it, and I would load it in the back of the truck with the forks, take it, get off-road diesel fuel, bring it back and unload it. I don't have to do that anymore. And the last reason, and probably most important to me, it is a great way to improve your preparedness, I guess you could say. It just makes you feel good knowing you've got 500 gallons of diesel fuel on site. You know, I've got the excavator, skid loader, tractors, sawmill. They all run on diesel. My trucks do as well. However, this is off-road diesel, and I would never put that in my trucks because that would be against the law. So a lot of people asked about that. Off-road diesel tank. That's why you don't have to pay tax on it compared to road fuel, and it's dyed diesel fuel, because they can pinch you for that. They can. I know of some people. I don't know how they got caught. I have no idea, but they did, and I'm sure they got quite the fine. But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. Don't forget, mugs are available. There will be a link in the description, pinned comment as well. And also, it was great to hear Pete's voice when he called me the other day. I'll put a link. There's a GoFundMe for Pete if you'd like to help him out a little bit. He's going to be off work for a very long time. Great guy. And to clear up any confusion on the GoFundMe thing, they do charge a 2.9% fee when you use your credit card, which most people do. I'm not defending GoFundMe at all. I'm just saying it's 2.9%. So people are talking saying it was 17, 19%. It's not. Now, when you click on it, they ask for a tip or something, and you can adjust this bar. You can adjust it all the way down to 0, and you'll just get charged the 2.9% fee for using the credit card. Like, you know, matter of fact, I just bought tires for the Jeep the other day, and if I used a credit card, which I did not, it was going to be like 3% more. So that's kind of a standard practice. But anyway, links for that, the mugs in the description. I think that's about it. Appreciate y'all being here. Catch you on the next one.